Do you ever feel like people put expectations on you of how they want you to show up in the world? And it sometimes feels like they're robbing you of your unique and authentic self? Well, I sure do. And let me tell you about how I overcame those expectations, claimed my right to be myself, and embraced my unique, authentic, and inspired life, and how you can do that too. Growing up, I remember just how hard my parents were on me. Now, my parents left Europe after World War II, so they were both immigrants. My mom was German and my dad was Serbian. And entering into a very white Anglo-Saxon society, as Canada was back in the 50s, meant that they had a hard time being accepted with their uniqueness and heavy accents. Now, I remember the time my mom baked a German cake for a school bake sale. It was my very favorite almond cake, and it was called Bienenstich. And all the cakes sold at the bake sale but hers. And they told me after it was because it wasn't Canadian enough. And that was the first time I ever felt shame about being an outsider. And from that moment, I began to notice how my mom would make sure that we acted and did things that didn't go against any of the societal norms at the time. I wasn't allowed to wear blue jeans or wear my hair straight because that's what hippies did, because in her eyes they were dangerous outcasts. I wasn't allowed to play guitar unless it was classical music. So they gave me guitar lessons with this teacher called Mr. Cuenca, and he would slap my hand with a stick if I made a mistake. Ugh. So growing up, my parents tried to mold me into a likeness of their choosing for safety. Problem was, I was a different kid. I was psychic from the day I can remember, and that for sure could never be spoken of. Well, that made me way too different. Back then, in their eyes, trying to fit into their adopted homeland, well, that was fortune-telling stuff and would certainly bring shame on them and myself if I ever pursued that. But my dad still did teach me about it. That was just never a career choice. They decided I would be a lawyer. Well, the more I tried to be me, the more they came down on me. But I did what any normal teen would do. I rebelled at every turn. But then the vicious cycle started. The more I rebelled, the further I actually got away from my true self. I'd party all night as often as I could until an entire decade passed and I'd completely blown the best days of my youth. I eventually hit bottom and went into rehab, and I got my first sponsor. Ugh, her name was Marguerite Lee. I loved her. She became my biggest supporter in my life. She called me her beautiful exotic bird, and she gave me permission every day to be that unique, authentic self. And as I got myself together, over the years, she was always there to help support me and push me towards my true self. And as I began to accept my gift as a psychic intuitive, she gave me the confidence to do that work and make a difference in people's lives. But sadly, she passed away really quickly, and I'd felt like I lost the only true person that had ever fully supported me in being my authentic self. I have to say it was a devastating loss. But I kept on doing readings, and I was good at it. My business really grew, and then one day, this was amazing, when sitting down with my mom, drinking a coffee and having a chat, she told me this story about a lady who came into the dress shop that she worked at and who was raving about this great reading that she just had. Now that lady was so excited, she got my mom all excited. And so my mom asked the lady for the name of the psychic she went to. So the woman wrote the name and number down of the woman she just had a reading from. And my mom couldn't believe it, because it was me. It was my name on that paper. It was also one of the only times that I can remember that my mom saying how proud she was of me, and it was just for being myself. And it was also one of the last times I would ever deny being my authentic self. It took almost 20 years to go from being taught to deny who I was and that my uniqueness, my dreams, and my aspirations should be kept quiet if I wanted to be accepted, to becoming the person who people wanted to be with because I was openly proud to show the world who I was. And it happened again with music. When I got a record deal, I was 40, and they said, "Don't tell anyone how old you are or they won't support you." That happened. How about don't go on TV or show anyone your psychic mediumship abilities, or people will find out about you and try to shame you because of their beliefs. That happened too. How about stay small or someone will be jealous and cut you down? Hi, I'm Colette Baron-Reid. I'm 62 years old. I sing, I write books, I create tarot and oracle cards. I'm psychic and I talk to dead people. And I don't need anyone's approval to be me. Not anymore. And that's the power of the third energy. It's all about your personal power, your sense of self-worth, how you see yourself as a unique individual holding your head up high in the world, and how you're individuated. When you're out of balance, you can be prone to a victim mentality. You might be complaining all the time about life, or you feel very needy. You might see yourself as powerless, or you see others as someone you want to keep pleasing all the time. Or maybe you might feel controlling or aggressive. Maybe you would get prone to rigidity. But the bottom line is, when your third energy is out of balance and in disharmony, you have lost your personal power. When this energy is balanced, you really know who you are. You feel your uniqueness. You don't compare yourself to other people. You're really just comfortable being yourself, and you have a healthy sense of individuality, and it comes easy. You feel it. So you're not afraid of being unique or having a different opinion. When you're in balance with this particular energy, you can comfortably express your individuality and your uniqueness. You own your personal power. So what do you think? After learning about Energy 3, do you feel that's the energy you need to show a little more love to? Look for some links we've created that will help you learn more about each energy. And if you haven't done so already, take that alignment quiz to find out more.